The woman did not knock twice. She knocked once and then pushed the door open herself. Clara froze where she stood, a spoon still in her hand. Her small kitchen in Lagos suddenly felt too quiet. The woman stepped in like she owned the place. Dal, elegant, calm. Her dress was simple, but everything about her looked expensive. The kind of expensive Clara had only seen on billboards. Behind her, a black car waited outside, engine low and steady. Clara's son, Oliver, ran out from the small room. "Mum, who is?" He stopped when he saw the stranger. The woman looked straight at Clara. Then she spoke, her voice soft but firm. "Your dad gave me this address." Clara's hand dropped. The spoon hit the floor. "My dad?" she whispered. That was not possible. Her father had died many years ago. She swallowed hard. "You have the wrong house." The woman shook her head slowly. "No, I have the right one." She reached into her bag and brought out a folded paper. Old, worn, like it had been kept for a long time. She held it out. Clara did not take it. Her chest felt tight. "My father is dead," she said, her voice shaking. "So whoever you think you are, I know he is dead," the woman said quietly. That made Clara stop. The woman took one step closer. "I was there when he died." Silence filled the room. Even the small fan stopped making noise, as if it was listening. Oliver held onto Clara's dress. "Mum, I do not like her." Clara placed a hand on his head, but her eyes stayed on the woman. "What do you want?" she asked. The woman's gaze moved to Oliver. For a second, her calm face broke. "Shock. Deep, real shock," she whispered, almost like she was afraid of her own words. "So he hid him, too." Clara's heart skipped. "What are you talking about?" The woman looked back at her. Her voice dropped. "The boy, Oliver, is not your only child." Clara's breath caught. "That is a lie." The woman did not argue. Instead, she said something worse. "I have proof." Clara stepped back slowly. Her world felt like it was breaking. "My father would never." The woman cut her off. "Your father did many things you do not know." Then she took another step closer. "And I am here because one of them is about to destroy your life." Clara shook her head. No, this is not real." The woman folded the paper again. Then she said, "Call me Victoria Ashbourne." And Clara knew somehow that everything she thought she knew had just ended. Clara could not speak for a moment. Her ears rang like she had just heard something too loud. Oliver held her tightly. "Mum, what is she saying?" Clara forced herself to breathe. "She is confused," she said softly, but her voice did not sound strong. "There is no other child." Victoria Ashbourne did not argue. She simply walked further into the small living room and sat down, like she had all the time in the world. "That is what you were told," she said calmly, "not what is true." Clara's chest rose and fell fast. "My father would never hide a child from me." Victoria looked at her carefully. "Your father, Edward Whitmore, was a kind man, but he was also a man who kept secrets to protect people." Clara's heart tightened at the sound of his name. It had been years since anyone said it like that. Soft, respectful, dangerous. Oliver slowly moved closer to Clara. "Mum, I do not understand." Clara bent down and held his shoulders. "It is nothing. Go back inside. I want to stay with you." Clara hesitated, then nodded. She stood up straight and faced Victoria again. "Show me your proof." Victoria did not rush. She opened her handbag and took out a small envelope. It looked old, carefully kept. She placed it on the table between them. Clara stared at it like it could bite. "Open it," Victoria said. Clara walked slowly toward the table. Her hands felt weak. She picked up the envelope and opened it. Inside were two things: a photograph and a hospital paper. Clara pulled out the photograph first. Her breath stopped. It was her father, smiling, standing in a hospital room, holding a baby. But that was not what shocked her. There was another child in the photo, a little girl, standing beside him. Clara's hands began to shake. That is not me," she whispered. Victoria's voice was quiet. "No, it is not." Clara turned the photograph over. There was a date written at the back, the same day Oliver was born. Her heart dropped. Slowly, she picked up the hospital paper. Her eyes moved across the words. Then suddenly, she froze. Her lips parted. This says." She looked up at Victoria, her face pale. "It says twins." Clara's hands would not stop shaking. "Twins?" she whispered again, like saying it softly would make it false. Oliver looked up at her. "Mum, what does that mean?" Clara could not answer him. Her eyes stayed on the paper. The hospital stamp, the date, her name. Everything was correct. Everything was real. Victoria Ashbourne leaned forward slightly. "Your father asked me to keep that safe," she said. "He said one day you would need to know." Clara shook her head slowly. No, this is wrong. I would remember. I would know if I had another child." Victoria's voice softened, but her words did not. "You were not awake." Clara's heart skipped. "What?" "You were unconscious after the birth," Victoria continued. "There were complications. You lost a lot of blood." Clara felt a sharp pain in her chest. Memories started to come back, blurry, broken. The bright hospital light. Voices she could not understand. Her father holding her hand, crying. "I thought," Clara swallowed. "I thought Oliver was the only one who survived." Victoria looked at her carefully. "That is what you were told." Silence fell again. Oliver held Clara tighter. "Mum, am I okay?" Clara dropped the paper and pulled him into a hug. "You are fine. You are safe," she said quickly. But her voice trembled. She looked back at Victoria. "Where is the other child?" Victoria did not answer immediately. Instead, she reached into her bag again. This time, she brought out a phone. She unlocked it and turned the screen toward Clara. "Before I answer that," she said quietly, "you need to see something." Clara hesitated. Then she stepped closer. Her eyes moved to the screen. At first, she did not understand what she was looking at. Then it hit her. A girl, about Oliver's age, standing in a large house, wearing a neat dress. Her face, Clara's breath stopped. It was like looking at Oliver, but different, softer. A girl. Clara's voice broke. That is my child." Victoria nodded once. "Yes." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "Where is she?" Victoria's expression changed. For the first time, She looked unsure. Then she said slowly, "She is in danger." Clara felt like the ground had disappeared under her feet. "In danger?" she repeated. Her voice sounded small. Oliver held her hand tighter. "Mum, who is that girl?" Clara looked down at him, her eyes full of tears. She might be your sister." Oliver blinked, confused. "I have a sister?" Clara could not answer. She turned back to Victoria, her voice now stronger. "Tell me everything, now." Victoria stood up slowly. She walked to the window and looked outside for a moment, as if she was thinking about how much to say. Then she faced Clara again. "After you gave birth, your father made a choice," she said. "A hard one." Clara's chest tightened. "What choice?" Victoria stepped closer. "He separated the twins." Clara's eyes widened. "No. Why would he do that?" "To protect them." Clara shook her head quickly. "From what?" Victoria hesitated. That alone made Clara's heart race faster. "From people who wanted the child." Victoria finally said. "What people?" Clara asked. "Powerful people." The room felt colder. Clara laughed softly, but there was no joy in it. "This does not make sense. Who would want a baby?" Victoria's voice dropped. "Because of who their mother is." Clara froze. "Me?" Victoria nodded. "You do not know this, but your mother came from a very wealthy family. Old money, hidden power." Clara stared at her. "My mother died when I was young." "Yes," Victoria said. "But her family did not disappear." Clara's mind spun. "You are saying people are looking for my children because of my mother?" Victoria's eyes were serious. "Yes." Oliver squeezed Clara's hand. "Mum, are we in trouble?" Clara pulled him close again. "No, I will not let anything happen to you." But even as she said it, fear filled her chest. She looked back at Victoria. "Where is my daughter now?" Victoria took a slow breath. "She has been safe until recently." Clara's heart pounded. What changed? Victoria did not answer with words. Instead, there was a sudden knock on the door. Loud, sharp, not like before. Clara froze. The knock came again, stronger. Victoria's face turned serious. She whispered, "They found us." Clara's heart began to pound so loudly she could hear it in her ears. "They found us?" she whispered. Oliver held on to her tightly. "Mum." The knock came again, harder this time. Clara looked at Victoria, fear rising in her chest. "Who is at the door?" Victoria did not move. Her eyes stayed fixed on the door. "People who do not ask questions," she said quietly. "They take." Clara swallowed. Her legs felt weak, but something stronger pushed through the fear, a mother's instinct. She bent down quickly to Oliver. "Listen to me," she said softly but firmly. "Go inside the room. Lock the door. Do not come out unless I call you." "I do not want to leave you," Oliver said, his voice shaking. Clara held his face gently. "You are brave. Do this for me." After a second, Oliver nodded and ran inside. Clara stood up. The knock came again. "Open the door," a deep voice said from outside. Victoria stepped closer to Clara. "We do not have much time," she said. "There is a back exit." Clara shook her head. "No." Victoria looked surprised. "No?" Clara's eyes hardened. "This is my house. I will not run. Another loud bang hit the door. The wood shook. Victoria studied Clara for a second, then nodded slowly. "Then we do this your way." Clara walked toward the door. Each step felt heavy. Her hand reached the handle. She paused. Then she opened it. Two men stood outside. Tall, cold faces, no smiles. One of them stepped forward. "Clara Whitmore?" Clara lifted her chin. "Yes." The man looked past her, scanning the house. "You need to come with us." Clara's voice was steady. "Why?" The man did not answer. Instead, he reached into his jacket. Clara's heart jumped, but he pulled out a phone. He turned the screen toward her. Clara's breath stopped. It was the girl, her daughter, the same one from Victoria's phone, but this calm. She is safe, for now. Clara's hands trembled. "What do you want?" The man looked straight into her eyes. "You." Silence filled the space. Clara slowly stepped outside, closing the door behind her. Victoria moved quickly to her side. "Do not go with them," she whispered. Clara's eyes filled with tears, but her voice stayed strong. "I do not have a choice." She looked at the man again. "I will come, but you let my children go." The man gave a small smile. "That depends on you." Clara took one last look at her house, at the door behind her, at the life she knew. Then she stepped forward into the unknown. And as the black car door opened, Victoria whispered behind her, "This